que tanto desprecian para hacerte llorar.
Welcome and thank you everyone for joining live with artist Armando Sebastian. My name is Jerome Lares. I'm co-founder of Arttitude. The idea behind our live broadcast is to help queer and minority artists during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, as many artists have lost income due to canceled events or projects. Um, Please help our artists by donating. You can go to our website, artitude.org, or you can text Artitude with a double T to 44321. So thank you again for everyone for supporting us, for supporting our artists. We love everyone out there. So now let me go ahead and introduce our artist. His name is Armando Sebastian. He's a Dallas artist. He draws and he paints using bright colors inspired by Mexican folk art and the human body. His work is rooted in autobiographical details. Armando, he immerses us into an atmosphere of human pain and vulnerability reminiscent of the ex voto paintings. He leads the viewer. He leads us to explore questions of identity and gender. Armando's masterpieces most closely identify with the genre of of magical realism. So, Armando, thank you for being here and welcome. So, I go ahead and I'll leave it to you now.
Hello, everyone. This is Armando Sebastian. Thank you for joining us. I'm a Dallas based artist. And to share a little bit about my story, I was born and raised in Monterrey, Mexico. And I've been in Texas for about a little bit over 10 years. Um, I started drawing when I was a kid. I remember always drawing in my notebooks in school. I used to get in trouble sometimes. I used to spend a lot of time on my own. I'm the youngest of four sisters, so there were some times when all my sisters will go to school. I was still at home, and I'll spend a lot of time with my grandma and with my mom. So we used to, my mom used to like just give me like paper and pencils and stuff. So I started drawing when I was like, I probably like 5 years old. And then, throughout the years when I started going to school and I remember in high school, I was interested in becoming a fashion designer because, I was always drawing and I used to like drawing a lot of garments and dresses and stuff. But then that for some reason I never pursued doing that. I did fabricate some clothes, but I never, it never went that far. So then, I started to take classes. It was a drawing class through high school, and that's when one of my teachers told me like maybe that's something that you want to pursue. So that's how it started, and from that it's been an amazing journey. um, I never was classically trained, so everything I know and as far as drawing and techniques, it's been all on my own. But I'm really happy the way it's been turning out, and I'm just I feel really lucky to be able to express myself through painting. Um, Also, through my art, I've learned that it's for any artist, not only for painters. I feel like art it's a way of expression, and I feel that I've learned through my art that this is a personal journey, and it's an opportunity for you to get to know yourself a little bit more. And in my case, it's been amazing having this opportunity to be able to explore anything that like happened in my life, or um, any ideas or any concepts that I've learned throughout the years reading. It's really interesting how I've been able to express that through painting, and it's been just a really good journey. I feel like any artist who has that outlet, it, it's a individual journey that we all follow, and I'm really lucky to be able to uh, do it. Um, the things that inspire me um, mainly is through music. Um, Also, I like to read a lot. I used to look a lot of fashion magazines and movies too. I like movies. I used to like to travel too when I was younger. So I guess it's a mix of a lot of things. But my main source of inspiration is obviously my culture and the bright colors and I remember when I went to Mexico City one time, I just fell in love with all the folk art and um, just that mixture of cultures. I remember being so fascinated by the paintings in the churches. Religious images have been a really strong influence in my work. So all those things, somehow come together, and it helps me to create a painting. So with that being said, my today I never let anybody actually see me uh, working. So this is also a learning experience for me, and I'm opening the door to you guys, and I appreciate you guys are taking the time. And this is my little studio, and this is where I've been spending most of my time lately. Right now, I'm working on this piece, and today I'm gonna spend some time painting. If you guys have a question, I don't know if I can see the if I'll be able to see the questions, but at the end we're gonna have a Q&A section so we can, I can answer if you guys have any questions. And well, this painting still doesn't have any title yet, but the inspiration came from a song that is a Mexican song that it talks about a boy, or it could be a boy or a girl. Um, his birthmark is they have a mole by their mouth. It's called Cielito Lindo, and the lyric is describing how uh, that person that is in love with the girl or the boy wants to say that Peter's um, birthmark that he has in Spanish. Sometimes the translation is kind of like a little odd, but the song talks about uh, a lunar, which is a mole. So anyway, on this painting, I want to recreate the song. The character has a mole by his mouth, and I wanted to embrace that he is a young boy, that he's not afraid to take risks, that he's not afraid of nature. He likes to play with snakes, and his snake has a snake around a little branch, and he has two birds. I always like to include birds in my paintings because I feel like they're very colorful and they bring me a lot of joy. And I always, if it fits with the painting, I always like to include some birds. So I'm gonna start working one of the birds of the painting, and you know we'll continue later on with the questions, and we'll talk about it more. So I usually have my palette already with all the colors. You can see it, but I'm gonna. I always use oil. It's my favorite medium because I feel like it's very gentle. Sometimes when you're not happy with the turnout, you can always come back and fix it. So I always like to use oil.
No fue pecado, cegaría mi vida y así estar a tu lado, junto a tu corazón,
So right now I'm gonna start with
rogando por mi
the
amigo,
chest.
para que pronto estemos juntos allí. Si al fin y al cabo ella piensa mucho en ti.
To me, painting is always about the atmosphere. I always like to um, make sure that I'm comfortable, that I'm having, I have the elements that in a way inspire the painting. Sometimes I set up a little shrine, or it could be a vision board, just to remind me of the things that inspired the painting.
Hace tiempo que me está fingiendo, no me está diciendo ninguna verdad. Mis amores se han ido muriendo, seguir insistiendo sería tanta madrugada. Y si es cierto que le tienes mucho amor, eso hará que no le encuentres un error. Vivirás agradecido a su calor. Ah, me olvidaba decirte, si al quererte
I always like to set up music.
si al de otro seré, igual mi paz contigo, por eso vamos mi amigo.
I like boleros. Boleros is kind of like a style in Mexico that is primarily guitar, and um, most of the time are love songs or um, a heartbroken experience, something like that. One of the things that I really enjoy when I'm painting with oil is the ability that you get to blend the colors, to just play with it, and how you will never get the same color. Um, I like the way you can just always play. Mhm. And a little plus to the wing. So the way I start the painting is I always draw the whole composition of, and then um, you know I started to fill out the lines, and I started just go section by section. Like I said, I was never classically trained, so it's just the way it's been working for me. That's how I've been doing it, and but that's the good thing about art is just there's no rules. You can set up your own rules, whatever works for you. Um, and the good thing is that it's oil, so like I said, if sometimes you don't feel like it, or you think that you can add more color, or you can literally do anything. It's, it'll stay there for at least it'll stay wet for at least 24 hours. But sometimes I also like to use acrylic. It's just depending on what stage of the painting you are and what is it you want to achieve. Some artists just do underpainting. I do it also sometimes, but especially with birds, I always like to I like the more organic experience of just doing it without the underpainting. And I like how the colors they turned out a little bit brighter. I just like it.
Con el alma pelada, aún se recuerda que yo tengo miedo del encuentro con el pasado que vuelve a enfrentarse con mi vida. Tengo miedo de las noches que pobladas de recuerdos encadenan mi soledad. Pero el viajero que huye tarde o temprano regresa. Y aunque el olvido que todo destruye haya matado mi vieja ilusión, guardo escondido la esperanza humilde que es toda la fortuna que volver con la frente marchita, las nieves del tiempo plateadas.
So now we're gonna do the feet.
Voy de fuera orilla de día, que paga con oro, carne morena, como las páginas que enamoran. No me quieras, si tú me lo diste, yo naceré, medio solo un beso, beso no ya me pío, ya me llevo en esas paredes de oferta, pena y alegría que te he dado y me diste, y esas joyas que ahora pa' otro lucirá. Bien paga, si tú eres la bien
Now we're
paga.
just gonna do the eye and the last part of the head.
Aunque no quieras tú, lo que Dios te dio, esta será la última cita de los dos. Comprenderás que por demás que te fallece seguir, porque el dolor del gran amor no es como para morir. Pero desde que allá, más que ya ilusión, a nadie ya en el mundo daré mi corazón. Devuélveme mi amor para matarlo, devuélveme el cariño que te di. Es que no mereces cuando me paso, tú ya no vales nada para mí. Devuélveme el rosario de mi madre y quédate con todo lo demás. No te quiero confío cualquier tarde, no quiero que me veas nunca más. Devuélveme mi amor para matarlo, devuélveme el cariño que te di. Tú eres quien merece con tu paro, tú ya no vales nada para mí. Devuélveme el rosario de mi madre y quédate con todo lo tuyo que lo envío cualquier tarde. No quiero que me veas nunca más.
So that's one of the birds. See if we can get it a little closer. And then just later on, I will, work a little bit more on it. Let's see if we can. Once the painting sits and dries a little bit, depending how wet I want it to keep working on it. But I always do like this as a first layer, so I can, you know, go from that as I move forward throughout the painting. But yeah, that was a little time with you guys. That's one of the birds. And then later on, I will work on the branch, and but I I like to do it at once so I can kind of like get the feeling of how it's gonna look. And then since it's oil, like I said, later on when once it dries, I keep working on it and just give it more, detail to it. Okay. Well, I want to thank you for spending time with me, and thank you to Attitude. My my story with Arttitude goes back a little couple of years ago, and I had said that it's been a really great journey. I think that Dallas needs um, organizations that help artists like us, and they give us a space. They've been really supported, and I know they support a lot of artists in the LGBT community in Dallas, and I mean I'm one of them, and I'm really glad that you guys are always there to support the artists, and I appreciate everything that you guys do for us.
Armando, thank you. You did have a few questions being asked. Danielle Demetria, she asked
Okay.
you, how have you been impacted by the coronavirus pandemic?
Well, I mean, it's definitely something different. It's like unknown territory for me. I guess the part where I don't feel that so much of impact is because I spend a lot of time here in my studio, so that's something that sometimes I spend hours and hours and until it's dark out. But obviously, it's been challenging. I had a couple of shows that were supposed to be in May, but obviously it's too soon for any institution or any place that is showing, work to have a space open, and so those things kind of like fell through, and I was ready for them. So it's kind of like it's been a little um, difficult for me to balance everything because you plan and then things don't happen, um, and I feel like lately I've been these days I feel a little more the impact of not being able to be around people. I really like being around people, and it's just been challenging for me, but I'm doing my best.
I have a question. I've been around. I've known you for several years now, and I've been able to look at your artwork and in person up close. Um, but if you can make that connection, like with people who are watching right now, like um, what are some of your experiences that brought you to painting, and how do you use those experiences, and what you let us see in your work?
I mean, I guess in the beginning when I started drawing, because that's how I started. I started drawing a lot. So to me, it was my time alone and spending time. So it's kind of like an outlet for me to feel that I was included in something because I was very shy. So, and I didn't have that many friends growing up. I wasn't really um, a popular person. So it was kind of like creating my own world. I enjoyed it. So to me, it was kind of like an outlet. And the moment that I could spend on my own and feel like myself. Um, Later on, when I started painting, I realized that I had already developed a style, or maybe because I started, in my early years to develop some sort of style drawing. And so when I started painting, I realized that it was easy for me just to create, a composition to tell a story. I don't know how I do it. It just happens. But I feel really grateful for that, and it's been uh, really it's been really gratifying that people really likes what I do. And like right now, like I said, to me it's always about the environment and what I'm doing, the setup. What am I gonna be listening to? What I mean, sometimes even like what am I gonna snacking on? I guess all those little things that I pay a lot of attention to those little details, and so that makes me feel in certain mood. So I feel like all that energy is going to my work, and plus the fact that I just enjoy doing it. And so it's been an amazing journey.
Well, Armando, thank you very much for being live today, for being our first of our many live broadcasts from different artists from around the U.S. So, for those of you who didn't see my introduction, again, my name is Jerome Lattis, and I'm co-founder of Arttitude. So, what we do is we create and support platforms for LGBTQ artists and minority artists. So, during this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, we're bringing these live broadcasts of different artists to bring their work to you and to give us an experience of the artists that you'll be watching during these times. And another reason why we're doing this as well is a lot of our artist community, they're being affected financially because of COVID-19. Either because of canceled events, places are closed. So the major ways in which artists exhibit their work has been, it's we have to do it differently now while we're in quarantine. So to help support our artists, go to our website to artitude.org to donate there, or you can donate using your phones by texting Artitude with two T's to 44321. So you'll be able, I think you can see it on the top right of the screen, the information. So again, Armando, thank you very much for being here and for sharing your studio space and for giving us an example of what you do and how you paint. I've always been a fan of your artwork. I love your artwork, and so
Thank
I
you.
look forward to working with you in the future as well.
Thank you, and thanks everybody for joining in, and thank you to Attitude for all the support that you guys give to the artist community in Dallas. So we really appreciate it.
All right, thank you, Armando.
Thank you. You
All right,
guys have a good
have a
evening.
good day.
Bye.